Put your ball in the trees and then you lip out the putt. But if you've got a little time, then come and spend it with us. Cause now you're listening to The Rough Cut.
Hello and welcome down to another episode of the Rough Cut Golf Podcast, where I'm joined by Sam and David on a particularly sunny afternoon in Manchester, where the early breaths of autumn are coming through the window. However, we are due another heat wave coming very, very soon, which inspired me to absolutely massacre the hedge outside my house yesterday. But more on that to come. First of all, just wanted to say a massive thank you to the... Sorry. I just remembered.
So good until that point.
I just remembered, almost like literally remembered, consciously rather than subconsciously, that I didn't breathe throughout the entire bit of that. And I was launching into a new sentence without...
It's all those audio books that you've been listening to.
Yeah, very much so. 1.2 speed, my new thing. I just want to say a massive shout out to the sponsors of today's podcast, and please make sure you take advantage of this offer if you haven't already at NordVPN. So NordVPN have been great supporters of us over the past year, and we would love you to be able to go check them out and take advantage of an offer that we have for you. If you don't have a VPN already, it is a tool that you can use so you can access the internet from technically anywhere in the world. It helps you get cheaper prices on flights, and if you are traveling abroad, helps you log in to your favorite entertainment provider back at home so you can access your subscription and watch your favorite shows. It also protects your browsing, and all for the cost of a cup of coffee per month. Now, the offer that we have for you is to get 4 months free on a 24-month contract. And if you want to take advantage of that, head down into the description below and check out www.nordvpn.com/roughcut. As mentioned, great supporters of the channel. It would be fantastic if you can go check them out as well. And every download of NordVPN gets our podcast a little bit more in their good graces and allows us to do more things.
And breathe again.
Wonderful. Well done. Thank you. Thank you very much. What's happening this week, boys? I've just spoke for a while there with breathing. I need to take my breath.
Well, I do believe that you've got a very exciting match against a major winner coming up.
Indeed.
Would you
Who
like...
is that major winner, David?
This is me trying to tee beat up after he tees me up.
I like it. No, I need very clear instructions about when I'm being teed up today. Yes, I am going to be down in Kent. Careful pronunciation.
What did you call me?
Is it Lee Mack? Have you seen that?
Yeah.
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah, just type that in. Not for the kids. So I'm down in Kent, and I am facing off against Michael Campbell, US Open winner, facing down Tiger Woods down the stretch. He's teaming up with Jimmy Bullard, who has the audacity at the moment to actually have a better handicap than me on the handicap tracker Instagram, which is frankly shocking. But I am teaming up with Ryder Cup and European legend Paul McGinley to take these two people down at Chart Hills on Thursday.
Wow.
I think that's correct. Thursday. I need to keep checking with David.
Is it ticketed?
It is. You can just go onto the website, sign up,
Wow.
and you can go watch.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll buy a ticket.
Maybe you will.
I'll be here working. You don't let me have days off, so.
I wish that was true. I'd love to bring those days back.
If we remember, we'll put the link in the description of this, but otherwise check out our link tree that's in Pete's bio.
No, it's David that gets in trouble if the link doesn't go in. So the link will definitely be going in, and you can go check out, get some tickets, and come watch this 18-hole exhibition. How much have you signed me up for? David is the brand manager here at Finch Golf Media, and he just tells me what to do at this point, which is why I keep looking at him for confirmation. So
yeah, just keep going until Jimmy wanders off.
Are we talking about the match?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Sorry, I just punched the table in anger. You're back on.
I'm back.
So that's gonna be. I've never played Chart Hills actually. I've heard some good things about it. Apparently, it's got like the longest bunker in Europe.
Really?
Yeah, there's something like you can, if you go in the front of the bunker, I think you can like hit a 3-wood or a driver and still not get out the other side of it.
Is that not just waste area at this point?
I don't know. I don't know how many rakes there are in there.
I don't know about that. It seems like it's a gimmick.
It seems. Wow, Sam, it's not true. Sorry, Chart Hills. Don't invite Sam down to play. He thinks you're a gimmick. It's a. I know it's a Nick Faldo course, and I know it's held some. I want to say Euro Pro, and he held the International Series event last year for the Asian Tour when Liv was still backing it with some cash. We'll get onto that in a moment. And then after that, we're going up to Scotland to play in St Andrews at a pro event.
We are
myself and Sam
looking to make the cut for the first time this year.
Yeah, I mean, I have only played 2 cut events this year. And
But you were so good at making cuts last year.
Yeah, I
You
think
made all of them, didn't you?
I think I might have only played 2 of them as well. So
2 out of 2 is better than none out of 2.
I got 100% record and then the 0% record over the past 2 years. Yeah, I mean, it's all part of the Project 1K videos. So to start clawing my way up the world rankings, making cuts is going to be important. And I think potentially this might be the only event we can play in for the rest of the year, which has world ranking points, maybe apart from one.
Apart from one very special.
Let's just slow
your roll.
Make sure this is confirmed, and we've not been talking to some like random dude who's just happened to get our email. It's just promising us things.
Yeah, but wink, wink.
Yes, we will let you know about that. So I think we've got a few things to talk about as far as from the world of golf. I think the end of LIV has to be probably the first thing that we cover because the last event has just taken place. Michael Assasso of the Massive Arse Swing has.
I was wondering where you're going.
Held off John Rahm.
Wow.
We've seen this swing before.
Yeah.
Is it the one where it's like deep?
Yeah. He
Big rotation.
He squats down, and I mean, I'm not going to keep going on about it because we shouldn't objectify men or women, but he has literally
Cake.
A what?
He's caked up, I believe, is what the kids say.
Oh, is that what they
these
say?
days.
Well, his cake is full of 2 melons, and he uses it to great ability to swing the golf club. What it's going to be like in a few years on his back, I don't know, but it is one of the best. For me, it is one of the most interesting kind of swings out there. And when he went to LIV, it was a bit of a shame in some respect because I was looking forward to seeing him on some of the main tours. But hey, he went. And
He'll be back.
Well, we're going to get into this a little bit because there's something about younger players and LIV which I didn't really think about before, but we'll kind of get into that. However, just to kind of set the scene, if you don't know about it, so LIV Golf came into fruition a few years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 4 years ago now, and great fanfare, signed a lot of players to play in the league. It was a 54-hole event, guaranteed no cut, shotgun start, music on the first tee, trying to do golf very differently.
Golf but louder.
Golf but louder, yeah. It was the kind of imagination, their goal from the outset. Greg Norman kind of headed it up, and it was very loud when it came on the scene. It was very disruptive. You cannot say anything other than it changed the shape of men's professional golf in the last 4 years, and we'll get onto some of the reasons why. But even though it now looks like the end is nigh and LIV is going to be wrapping up at the end of the year unless they secure certain amounts of funding and LIV 2.0 comes to fruition, which we'll talk about, it's changed the PGA Tour for the better or for the worse, I don't know. It's changed DP World Tour. It's changed the face of men's professional golf. But we've just in the last event of the regular season, now the team championship's been cancelled, and that's kind of it. It feels like it's ended with a little bit of a whimper. But also at the same time, it kind of feels like that's been the same story over the past 4 years, which is why it's ending.
I kind of feel like the point that they've got to is like just so long as we get it to the end, and obviously they've had to cancel Michigan, but other than that, they've managed to somewhat cobble together.
That's the team event. They've not just cancelled the state of Michigan. Just in case you're in Michigan and you're panicking.
Right, okay, I think I read that
Where
wrong.
am I going to live?
I think that was the end for them. But my worry for like some of the guys who are going to hang on to this for a bit longer is there is supposedly going to be a LIV 2.0, if you kind of believe what Bryson's saying. He said that something fun is coming. And Scott O'Neill obviously is trying to drum up funding. He's trying to, pave some sort of, way forward that looks like there is a renewed interest and there are lots of fresh ideas that are going to be in the offing come next year. But so much of that comes down to, is Bryson still going to be there? Is John Rahm still going to be there? And to be honest, I don't think they're going to, sign on the dotted line and then wait for that cash to come in. I think it goes the other way around.
Yeah.
So I think there's a decent chance that they cobble together some like really small stakes, really short term LIV 2.0, and then it kind of implodes.
Yeah. The other thing is you can't always trust what they say, because they've been saying a lot over the last few years about it's just going to be fine, and we're absolutely fine, there's no problems, and then there's always a problem that comes about a week later. So it's a bit like, oh, okay.
I think one issue with getting LIV 2.0 off the ground, if they do manage that, is, let's face it, if the players are looking at this and saying, well, you can get LIV 2.0 off the ground, but where are we going to be next year? Where are we going to be the year after? Is this actually going to be a sustainable tour? And unless they can show that, I think the majority of the players will probably be like, well, I'm going to try and get back PGA Tour, DP World Tour. Because I think that the big guys, the Rahms and the Brysons, whatever deal is formulated, they will obviously get the biggest slice of that pie. So, they could secure their next year, for example. But I think a lot of players would be looking at alternates now.
And then it just becomes like now it's not really offering an alternative to the PGA Tour as like a elite event. It's just sort of something else, which at that point everyone goes, well, what are we still doing here? And they go, oh, okay. And then, like you say, fizzles sort of into nothing. I
think realistically, if Bryson pulls out, goes back to the PGA, like whatever pathway is open to him, I think it just folds. I think there is some version of LIV that can exist if Bryson stays and John Rahm leaves. I don't think it would be great, but I think there is something that would be there. I just, supposedly, and these are all kind of figures that have just been rumoured, but supposedly when Bryson was discussing and renegotiating his contract, he was looking for $500 million. Mm-hmm. And if you look at the figures, the fees of the bailout or the investment or however you want to term it, apparently it's a similar amount of money. So are you really saying that you're going to pay Bryson to stick around for a few more years, but then you have no money for anything else?
Yeah, at which point it's just Bryson playing on his own against a few kids.
So it's just YouTube. It's finally just like going in. I think this is just a long-term plan to get his YouTube channel funded for a bit. The issue really is that throughout all of this, the whole point of LIV, from a tour perspective, was to offer an alternative to what you would call the big two, so DP World Tour and PGA Tour. And it did offer an alternative to an extent, but it just never really caught mainstream attention. And obviously with the outset, with the Saudi Arabia Public Investment Fund backing, it did draw, the controversy. It did draw the criticism. But what it did have with PIF is an incredible amount of money backing it. And for the first few years, it was almost they're willing to back this with however much it needs until somebody turned around, probably at the start of this year, and said, guys, we spent billions of dollars on this. What are we doing here? What are we actually doing here? And I think for me, probably what they've been doing with other sports as well. Yeah. They've been investing pretty heavily in football, F1, whatever it's going to be. They're across everything. And if you look at the amount of views that LIV gets, the amount of attention that LIV gets when compared to those other sports, it's just not really comparable. And, not really getting a proper TV deal in place, not really getting the coverage that they wanted. It's a very hard sell. And let's be honest, the whole thing about the teams just hasn't worked.
I think they might have thought it was going to be easier than it was in the end, really. Like to get that recognition and the legitimacy that they were looking for. Did you see the thing about how it might have been Sergio beating up the tee box that pushed the needle just over the edge?
Yeah, apparently when Sergio beat the absolute crap out of a tee box at Augusta, that wasn't looked on too favourably.
Yeah, the PIF
surprisingly.
No.
Is this the image that we want to give? Is this the image we want to portray? Because the thing is with golf, and this is something that is often looked at and questioned, is golf has it's one of the most popular sports in the world, but as far as money that is pumped into golf, it's actually really big. Now, the reason for that is golf is seen as quite a clean sport. It's seen as a safe investment. Golf, game of honor, the way people dress, the way people behave. It has a level of, I suppose, classiness when compared to some other sports that isn't there for a lot of the time. Now, when one of your stars on your tour is viciously assaulting grass because he's hit a wayward shot, it kind of takes away that little bit of shine. So I can understand that. But I think just the consistency of how it hasn't reached the heights that they wanted it to. One thing I would say, just playing devil's advocate to my own opinion really, is I've not met anyone who's been to an event who didn't actually enjoy it. That is one thing I will say.
Everything's enjoyable if it costs £1 billion trillion.
I don't know. I mean, you can compare this to other sports. You can throw a lot of money at things. It doesn't mean it's going to work, which is obviously what's happened to the tour in general. But I think everyone who's been to an event have said it's really good, really well organised, enjoyable when compared to other sports. You get to see a lot more golf than kind of the PGA Tour as well, because the way they did the shotgun start and everyone's kind of on the course at the same time. I think there is something about that, and also how they went around the world.
Yeah, the around the world stuff is great.
That
should be learned from.
Yeah, exactly. So there are some things they did right. I think for me, the team aspect and the way that they structured the tour was ultimately one of the reasons why it didn't work. People didn't care about the range goats in a real personal way. Cliques, they could leave it. No one was waking up early in the morning to see how
Golf Club.
Oklahoma Country Club got on.
Speaking of which,
it just wasn't. It wasn't the one. And some of the figures that were coming out around, like, trying to get investment into the teams, as though these teams were, real tangible kind of assets, when it just wasn't the case.
Because they kind of like. I don't know if you follow cricket much, but the 100 recently have started selling off all their teams as like individual going concerns. I guess maybe they were trying to get to the point where those teams would be like franchises, and then they could use them as individual parts of the wider thing. But yeah, obviously it just didn't. Yeah,
franchises just don't. Franchise sports, when they're new, especially, do not grab people's attention because they're not passionate about things. Like if it's a long-lasting franchise, so obviously American sports is pretty much based on that. So you got, I don't know, Philadelphia Eagles, for example. That team is a real tangible part of the city. It's interlinked. If you're from Philadelphia, correct me if I'm wrong, you're an Eagles fan, you're passionate about it, and I don't think that franchise could ever actually move from there. It's like it's a hometown team in very much the biggest regard, but I don't know. I'm just trying to think of teams.
They tried to do it like Majestic. They tried to make it British, and then they tried to make the Ripper one, Australian, and the Korean one Korean. But I guess it just fell flat a little bit. But the thing you say about franchises is weird. I always thought that was weird about American sport. Like they do move their franchises, and I kind of never got it. Why was anyone going to support the team that's just arrived and it used to be 50 years somewhere else? Like,
I mean, ultimately, like franchise, and again, this is the reason why it's probably kind of failed. Franchise teams are based on kind of income. Like they are based on being a monetary concern. So if you're in the NFL, for example, you can't get relegated. So you're almost guaranteed a certain amount of big games and money. And if you're based in, I don't know, Arkansas, and people aren't coming in to watch, and there's a spare stadium going in Nebraska, I don't know. You could be like, okay, let's go for it. And it's only really happened once in the UK with kind of Wimbledon and MK
and
Dons.
that was universally panned, and now Wimbledon are better than MK Dons.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, I don't think it's something that can really work in the short term when it's a new concern, especially with golf.
I don't believe, to be honest, that LIV Golf was set up for success, or at least it was expected to succeed by those who were higher up the tree. I think that it was literally just to disrupt what was already going on with the PGA Tour, turn enough heads, like attract enough people to come over, and then they would have the ultimate bargaining chip. Like, if you want your players back, we have to merge, we have to come together, we have to, you have to like allow us to invest within the PGA Tour.
Yeah, the Saudi Arabian Public Investment Fund wanted influence in golf, whichever way that was going to be, whether it would be the new league that they created or through investment into the PGA Tour because of that.
Because I think
but they ultimately just didn't get that, which is great.
Yeah. If they wanted it to succeed, I think they would have had to have started much smaller, or they probably would have had to have bought like actual golf courses and then say, okay, Bubba Watson or whoever it would be is like a member of Pebble Beach, whatever. And then you actually have actual geographic locations that make a certain amount of sense. And then you have home and away games and things like that. And then that's kind of how the structure of the league would work. But realistically, that's such a logistical minefield and doesn't allow them to, conquer the world by taking everyone on tour in the way that they wanted to. I think they just needed to like go out there and like cobble together something really brash and really fast in a way that's going to disrupt, which is what they did, but they never quite got to the threshold. And I don't know if, say if a Scotty came over or like a Rory came over, like would that have been enough? I don't know. I think it would have been enough that maybe more players would have come through, and then they would have had the vast majority of big names. Yeah. But other than that, I'm not sure how many people would have watched that.
No. Well, I mean, no one really was watching, and that's the biggest issue. I think if you create something, and I was never personally kind of like a fan of the product, if you want to look at it like that. Even calling it a product kind of gives you the ick a bit, but people just weren't that interested. And the main needle movers, like you have Rory, but realistically, like even Scotty, who is by far the best player in the world, as far as I'm aware now, world rankings wise, he is further away than number 2 in the world, Rory, than like no one is.
Yeah, he's like 200 places from Rory down.
It's
equal,
it's something along the lines of, in the world rankings, I am closer to Rory than Rory is to Scotty. It's something ridiculous like that. Even if he went to LIV, would that actually move the needle? I don't think so. I don't think so.
Might give given them more legitimacy. A word I can't say.
I don't even know if like individuals would have done it. It's kind of just needed a bigger, more broad, more competitive base with a couple of individuals on top that would have just, because currently, like you say, even if all the superstars were on LIV, but it's just them, like you still got a more complete field and a more competitive and a more interesting field in a PGA Tour event.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the ins and the outs of it, but whatever the initial discussions were with the DP World Tour or the European Tour, as it was then, I suppose it still is, that's where it kind of fell down a little bit from probably PIF standpoint and from the DP World standpoint. Like they had a real opportunity to secure the long-lasting future of the DP World Tour if they'd have managed to kind of negotiate in a way which kind of still kept the same real format of the tour, but they could have expanded it, more money, more venues. But I think LIV was so set on this team aspect, it just wasn't going to work. And but I mean, the PGA Tour, for example, now is, from a player standpoint, has been massively strengthened. Like the amount of purses that they're playing for with the money and the reduced kind of number of events. There's so much which has been geared now towards keeping the players happy. And the only thing which could happen realistically is a lot of the best players from LIV, are they going to now go back to the PGA Tour? And they hold all the cards, because the PGA Tour could say no if they really wanted to. I don't think they will. If like Bryson or John Rahm,
They'll just make them walk over broken glass.
yeah, they'll just make a public spectacle of it. They'll give them the Shane Bell, strip them naked, and tell them to walk through Ponte Vedra. It's just kind of probably
Don't do this again.
Yeah. But as we all know from the Game of Thrones, once they're back in the castle, they could blow up the set. So
True. Spoilers.
We will see. If you've not seen it by now. So I don't know. It's not a massive surprise. I think probably the weird thing with the players, and something I didn't think about, is with Lasasso, for example, and a few others who went straight to LIV. They won't have.
Yeah, they got no fallback.
Yeah, I mean, they won't have any like fines to pay,
No.
because they went pretty much straight on to LIV, so they could go through the qualifying to get on PGA Tour, DP World Tour, whatever it is. But they're in a very interesting spot.
Yeah.
I mean, someone like Lasasso, for example, just won an event, and that event is effectively meaningless as far as getting on other tour events.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
And I suppose for some of those, like they would have started on LIV as like coming off really good years that would have had them exemptions into events like amateur, the stuff they've done amateur wise, that would have got them into PGA Tour events probably that they threw away to join LIV, and then now they've got to go back and basically start again from the bottom to try and re-earn those. And yeah, it's going to be a little more difficult than it would have been if they'd have just gone straight into.
Yeah. Like how would that work? Because like if they wanted to come back through the ranks from the very, very bottom, like how do you even qualify for the Corn Ferry? I'm that whole world is like so new to me, because you hear of these guys like graduating college, turning pro, and basically getting a sponsor's invite onto the PGA Tour. I imagine these guys probably won't get that. I think they're probably going to be a bit more restrictive with those going forward.
You get through the college system now, they have actually kind of like a ranking system where you can earn a PGA Tour card straight from college, which I think's it's interesting. Other than that, you do Corn Ferry kind of qualification. Obviously, this is going to change as well, because you're going to have I can't remember what they call it now. You've got PGA, the two tiers of the PGA Tour.
Yeah. That new sort of was it championship thing?
Yeah,
Challenger
Tour. So you can have like promotions, relegations from those tours, make it a little bit more competitive, scaled down events, smaller fields, but it's still a little bit up in the air about how this is all going to work. I mean, you could do something like Patrick Reed did, where he went DP World Tour, where he does have a lifelong card, and then he's won enough events.
European Tour legend Patrick Reed.
He's then now won enough events through the DP World and that weird system that they've got.
What is that?
I don't know if you can hear that, but there's a buzzing. Mysterious ticking noise.
Someone's soaring down a tree outside. And he's managed to earn his way back onto the PGA Tour via the ridiculous promotion system that DP World Tour kind of have in place. So there are ways like back onto the tour at the moment, but it was quite clear earlier this year when the PGA Tour gave an option to certain players to come back, which was Rahm, which was Cam Smith, DeChambeau. They gave them a very clear way in, and then those LIV players said, no, we're going to stick with LIV. And now, like Sam said, they can get them to really, kind of prostrate themselves before the PGA Tour to get back on, if they wanted to go that way.
Like the first scene from the Da Vinci Code. Is it Da Vinci Code? He's flagellating himself.
Oh yeah, when he's whipping himself
Whipping himself in the back.
Yeah,
that's what they'll make them do.
I don't know what goes on at the PGA Tour headquarters, but yeah, maybe.
I imagine that's going on.
That's probably what's going on.
They have dungeons, I heard.
Oh wow, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Heard it here first. Small print attached to this. We don't know if that's true. I imagine
Allegedly.
it's not true.
The timing of it is I imagine that they're launching that new 2-tier system in 2028, and you will get promotion and relegation, but it's going to be a lot more stringent compared to what it's like at the moment with what is effectively a two-tier system with the elevated events. So I guess I don't think it was intentional, but there is a sort of underlying pressure. You need to make sure that you play on the smaller events on the PGA Tour in 2027 because that opportunity won't be there next year. You're going to have to play a lot longer and a lot harder to eventually earn like a fraction of that money. Yeah. So I wonder if there's... I'm going to have to close that window.
Yeah, close the door.
I think there's probably going to be an element of maybe the PGA Tour could have brought that forward a year or back a year, but it just leaves the guys on LIV at the moment. Is there any point in waiting to see what better is going to turn up? Because surely it can't be better than jumping over.
It just keeps going where it's like they wait thinking it's going to be okay.
David's done.
Yeah.
He's made his point.
They wait thinking it's going to be okay, and then it only gets worse, and they think, okay, it'll be fine, surely, and then it gets worse, and then but I will just wait and see if it gets better, and then it gets worse, and then every move is just like, oh no, we should have done it before.
It depends as well, like what the fines are going to be, because depending on people's contracts, like Bryson DeChambeau, for example, we don't know what his kind of signing was. We can understand what he's won through LIV events, but even if he's charged 20 million to kind of pay his fines and get back on the PGA Tour, that's like
nothing.
10% maybe of what he's made on LIV. So a lot of the players who've gone to LIV, especially the big earners there, have played an absolute blinder. If you look at it from a financial point of view, even if they have to pay this massive fine coming back home.
Well, it would then obviously depend on how long they make them wait.
Yeah,
before they can because Brooks obviously wasn't allowed in certain signature events this year, and so if they extend this like punishment period out over 2 years, then it obviously becomes less of like just a financial decision and more of like this is a cost me 2 decent years of my golf career kind of thing. So you have to see what it ends up like.
Yeah. Talking about players winning signature events and insignature events.
Wow, that was really smooth.
Thank you. Wyndham Clark just won the BMW Championship or International
BMW
Championship. And he is now kind of a third PGA Tour victory of the season, if you're including the US Open at Shinnecock. And, he is genuinely kind of up for debate as far as being player of the year, which I have a feeling not many people are going to be delirious about.
No, he's not well liked.
I kind of at this point, I don't fully understand the hate.
It always gets to a point where it's too much, doesn't it? Really?
Yeah, I kind of get it a little bit, but the US Open for me was really weird. Like to have people so actively rooting against you, and also from a fan perspective, you're going to the US Open, and generally speaking, you'll have your favourite player and you might want someone to win, but you're going to watch like the best players in the world at one of the best courses. I don't understand why you wouldn't want yourself to get excited over good shots.
Yeah, you want to see as best as possible from anyone.
Yeah. It just, if Scotty wins, if Wyndham wins, if Rory wins, ultimately you just want to see really, really good golf if you're there as a spectator. So to actively root against a player in this way, it just feels a bit weird. It feels a bit weird. But I do get the background and I do understand it. But yeah, it's a strange one for me. He is, by the way, an unbelievable putter. I'm willing to concede he might be the second best putter in the world.
That's very big of you.
Wow,
I'm
magnanimous.
I don't want to. I'm willing to take the hit to my ego and admit that he's pretty close behind me. Yeah, say people laughing in the background. They can't believe it.
Yeah.
Can't believe I've said that.
A couple of people in the most recent video seem to be questioning your status as the best putter in the world, but of course, they're ridiculous and wrong and stupid.
I mean, listen, even the best in the world at certain things have a few lapses. You can't be the best in the world all the time at something. It's ridiculous.
Unless you're Scotty, obviously.
Yep. But saying that, he's probably not going to be player of the year this year.
No.
Obviously, we got the. Is it just the Tour Championship which is left now? Yeah. So we'll see kind of who.
He could just go out and barnstorm it.
Yeah, who triumphs at that. I think this is kind of a tip-off point from LIV, though, really, is the end of the season now, like the PGA Tour. It feels, I don't know, it doesn't really feel that exciting. It feels a little bit flat. Rory, who came second yesterday, who kind of managed to make a bit of a comeback against Clark, but Clark almost like threw away his lead, didn't he? I think he was 3 over at one point. Rory was 2 under, kind of clawed that five-shot lead back. Rory kind of came into this after 3 weeks off?
Yeah, he disappeared, didn't he? After the Open,
Pretty much after the Open.
Didn't play at all for a while.
Yeah, it was almost like a bit of a shrug and I'm through to the playoff events. I don't really need to play these. Why not just turn
Didn't he
up
say he didn't even hit a ball in practice between the Open
apparently.
and the last week?
Yeah.
Just play himself back into form.
Yeah.
This he wasn't supposed to win this week anyways. He was just playing himself into form for the Tour Championship.
As you do. I just don't. And I think the PGA Tour are probably going to be looking at this as well. And God, to be honest, FedEx must be looking at this and thinking, what are we doing here? Pumping in this money for an end of season, which just really isn't that engaging. It feels flat.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel exciting.
Yeah.
We touched on it last week, didn't we? In last week's episode, it's just there's so many. You look at it and I think so many different ways to rejig it to make it interesting, but it's just so hard to find something that's actually wow, that's good. And the mark of it is the fact that they've been trying for so many years to rejig it and change it and all this, and they just can't find anything that seems to resonate with people to a great degree.
It's still trying to work out these playoffs. Are they trying to work out the best player from the playoffs? Are they trying to work out the best player from the entire season? Because that's the FedEx points have been there the whole time, and then you look at I don't know what they say, the player of the year. Is this over just the PGA Tour? Are we taking the majors and putting them in, or are we taking them out? There's just a lot of variables, and it's very, very unclear because golf is a very muddy, complicated sport. And realistically, when we already have FedEx Cup rankings and World Golf rankings and things like that, realistically, is there any point in even kind of deciding? Because the MVP discussion, say in basketball, for example, is highly contested and it's a huge badge of honor. Whereas I couldn't tell you, other than Scotty winning it for the last 4 years or whatever it's been, I couldn't tell you how many times Tiger's won it. I couldn't tell you how many times Rory's won it.
No, I mean it used to be, back in my day, it used to be very simple. You played the events throughout the year, that gave you your PGA Tour ranking, and the Tour Championship was just the event at the end of the year. And I think it might have been something like the top 20 used to qualify for it. It was a really small kind of field that went into it, but that was essentially just if it's a decider to the season, there were more points available. But if Scotty had already kind of clinched it, he was already clinched it. He'd won the Order of Merit. And the final event of the season was just a big money match.
Yeah, a good way for the best performing players to earn a bit more on the last.
And ultimately, that's why they changed it, because countless seasons you're going into it and Tiger Woods is running away with the money title. So it was almost like a meaningless event at the end of the year. So they're trying to change it with the FedEx Cup, make it more exciting, introduce this playoff element. And it's just not really captured the public attention. I don't really hate the idea, and I know it's not the most exciting, but I don't hate the idea of just having the Order of Merit system where you play throughout the year and you accrue points, and then the best player across the season is just number one, even if that's before the FedEx Cup.
I think so too. I don't know why we have to have this big crescendo blowout final moment. It can just be that someone wins.
Well, I think there is a separation between a lot of European and then maybe an Americanization of sport, where you can play, certainly in the NFL, you could be the best team throughout the year, but essentially if you win every single game, you're the best team, you will still go into the playoffs again. Now, in football, like Premier League or wherever it's going to be, Championship, if you play throughout the season, you accrue enough points where mathematically you're the champions, and that's it. You've done well. Congratulations. And if it's like that in golf again, that really wouldn't be the end of the world for me. But, maybe I'm...
The European perspective,
a bit more of a traditionalist in that sense. I mean, the DP World Tour have it with the Race to Dubai. It's just at the end of the season, you have the Race to Dubai champion, the Order of Merit champion, and that final event is just the big money kind of blowout. And often what happens is the person who wins that wins the Order of Merit because it's kind of so weighted. So, something like that might work. I don't know. My 2 cents.
Yeah. I
still want to do the match play tournament where everyone just plays 1v1 match play throughout the year, and then you end up with a big bracket, and then there's a final at the end.
Yeah, just do it once. Just see what it's like.
See what it's like.
we can always get a refund on it, surely.
And do Creator Cup style, where everyone's just at the start of the year, they get drawn. So Scotty has to call up Hideki Matsuyama and say, we've got until the end of the week to play this match. Where can you get us a tea time? And the deck is there's a Muni around the corner from me. Let's make sure we add the scoring in the app. But, I mean, listen, can I start this conversation with Wyndham Clark? I mean, is he player of the year, realistically, at this point? I mean, you have a lot of people who could be in the conversation, but, statistically, with the major... he's probably had the best year.
Yeah, I mean, there's just not been a lot of domination this year. It's been a lot of spread out wins across a lot of different people, and other than Matt Fitzpatrick, I guess, is up there in the conversation. And I mean, Scotty, how many wins has Scotty got now this year?
Is that two?
Two. Only two.
Yeah,
what a chopper.
But one being a fairly big one, and the St Jude one. But then again, so is Wyndham. So,
but there was a point a few years ago where the PGA Tour just started listing the majors on their schedule, and before that, they were considered as, alternate events almost.
Yeah.
So if you kind of take them to one side, I would say that Scotty Scheffler probably is the best, has had the best season of anyone in terms of the quality of play, and he's won 2, Wyndham's won 2. Yes, I know that Matthew Fitzpatrick has won 3. One of them was a paired event.
And Scotty's missed one cut, obviously, been top 5 countless times.
Yeah,
as well. So it's one of them.
But if you just say, as a flat question, which golfer has had the best year in 2026? Yeah, I think Wyndham Clark, hands down, makes total sense.
Well, there you have it. Wyndham, congratulations,
well
David.
Well done, Wyndham.
David is on the committee, and he will be sticking his vote in. Talking about,
There's no segue.
I have literally no idea how to transition into this. So more in the online golfing landscape now, away from professional tours. Good released a short-lived advert,
extremely short-lived,
announce the launch of their new driver with Callaway. So if you've not seen this, if you're integrated into the social media world, if you're integrated into YouTube Golf, you probably would have seen the advert by now. It was taken down, but before it was, people downloaded it and they've kind of re-shown it. The advert itself is a little bit longer than the clip which is being circulated, but it's effectively a driver. I think it's Marissa who goes for it, but there's a driver in the bag. Marissa goes to reach for it. Garrett kind of comes running in the background, knocks her to the ground and says something along the lines of, "Keep your hands off my driver." That's where most of the clips cut. There is another bit where they kind of all around the tee. Another guy kind of grabs a driver out of the bag. They're all saying, no. And he kind of barges past them as well, kind of onto the tee, puts it down, hits it. And with the taglines like, "New driver coming, you've been warned." It almost felt like a little bit of a horror movie parody type of thing. It was just a bit weird for me. I don't think anybody, certainly within the social media world and who kind of watches content online, I don't think there's a single person in the online industry who think that good
we're trying to make a point there.
Yeah, we're trying to make a point about kind of knocking women to the ground. No. I think if you're going to look at a company, and it is a big business now, that is actively, engaged with a new golf audience, a younger golf audience, and they've got good girls now, the female audience as well. Ultimately, they've been doing a pretty good job.
Yeah.
I don't think you can really doubt that. This ad was was weird though. I don't really know how it got
Do you want
released.
to know what my read on it was? What I think was they designed an ad, and they thought, oh, it'd be funny if we pushed, if someone's like trying to grab it and we push them to the ground. And then they were like, okay, so how are we going to get all of our people in? And then they just brain farted and put one of the good girls as one of the people reaching the driver. And then I reckon the writing of someone grabbing the driver and someone pushing them over was written before they included the girl as the person grabbing the driver, and then they just kind of didn't think about it. And someone somewhere, especially at Callaway, should have picked that up and went, that's probably not the best way around. Maybe the girl should be the one pushing the lad to the ground, or it should be two lads, or because then it doesn't look anywhere near as bad.
Yeah. I could be wrong. I genuinely don't think anyone from Callaway saw that. Like, you look at, because I mean, we've got experience of dealing, with brands and posting stuff. Like, there's no way anyone who is associated with brand management within Callaway would have allowed that to go out. 100%. And when you look at the statements that they put out, I think Good Goods was along the lines of, this does not reflect our values, like, we sincerely apologize. Whereas Callaway's was along the lines of, we are disappointed in the content, which to me sounds like they are obviously, without trying to say it in so many words, trying to distance themselves from Good and the content. Like, this was their content. We are disappointed with them, and we appreciate that they have amended this.
Would
and got
never
rid
put
of
it past the big company to throw someone under the bus, though.
Yeah, I don't know. It just feels weird because I think with anything like this, and I know kind of personally pretty much all the good guys. I've met Marissa as well, and there's no, I like them all individually, and none of them would ever give me the vibe that this is the kind of thing that they would actively endorse, especially the way that it was shot and it was shown. Yeah. But
it was supposed to be a joke, and it's just been a bit miscalculated.
Yeah, exactly, and it was badly miscalculated as well. There's no doubt about that. But I think for me, it's just one of because obviously we plan most of our content we plan, and if we were ever going to do anything with a brand in this manner, we talk about it. What would it be? What would that shoot look like? We'd obviously go record it, and then it would go through a process of us looking at it and then the brand looking at it. So somewhere along that,
that's what makes me think that the Callaway would have seen it. Personally.
Yeah. So somewhere along that path, it's just kind of slipped through. So it's a bit of a weird one.
Yeah, but what you said before is true. Like, they have probably done more. Them as a group have probably done more than anyone else in YouTube golf for promoting the women's side of the game with their good girls stuff. Like, in terms of YouTubers, they've pulled that whole side of their business where they've reinvented this YouTube channel where they're promoting female golfers, good golfers, interacting with them as well. So I can't imagine that it would have been in any way.
I just feel like the mix-up comes, or the error from their part is that they can do humour, but they don't necessarily do sketches. Whereas you try and imagine what a Saint Andre version of that would look like. There would probably be, some light before the shade at the very start where two buddies having a chat and say, "Oh, cool, is that the new driver?" And then the music would start then. Keep your hands off my driver. I think quite clearly that they wouldn't push Hannah down. It would probably be the other way around. Something like that.
Which is what makes me think that it was probably written first, and then they just
probably
put the characters in the wrong place, basically.
Yeah, maybe. So yeah, it was weird. I think one thing which has been noticeable though is there has been a really, really big pile-on. But the pile-on has definitely come from, I would say, outside of the YouTube world.
It comes from the people that hate YouTube already.
Yeah, it's been that's definitely been noticeable. I'm not saying that's a wrong thing, and that people who watch YouTube golf from a more traditional media standpoint, I would say, aren't able to criticize. Of course they can, because we're able to criticize if mainstream media do something, and that's absolutely all fair game. But it's definitely been a noticeable like pile onto this. So be interesting to see what kind of comes from it. I don't imagine a lot more will probably come from this. I think it was just a mistake that's been kind of taken down. Apologies been issued. It's almost just like what kind of happens from here. I imagine they'll be double checking things a lot more from now on.
Probably. I mean,
Probably
like
for the best.
a mistake, a misjudgment, however you see it. I mean, they're obviously portraying a message, albeit accidentally, probably. But, I think they should expect the backlash that they've had, and they deserve the backlash that they've got. Not because they did it intentionally, but because that's something that you can't signal is okay, you know, across like such a massive audience.
Yeah, and
as long as you hold your hands up and say,
and I think there's definitely, certainly from my side, I need to try and probably separate the two. That I know kind of a lot of the guys, and I know they wouldn't have meant anything by this, but also kind of separating and saying, well, actually, this is
it
has
both things can be true.
These things have consequences, and you do have to front up to the consequences.
I have to imagine that the next step, if there is a next step, would be like, and I've seen a few people making this point. I wouldn't surprise me if they did actually do this. Is if they donated some of the proceeds to, like, I don't know, like a domestic violence charity or something like that. Just made some sort of show of like making good to an extent. Just almost as much as anything, just to show that they acknowledge what they, what the message was that they were sending it out and trying to undo some of that damage. It is weird, it is bizarre, but hopefully, like you say, that's probably going to be the last we see of anything like that for a while.
It's a weird thing to talk about. It's definitely a weird thing to talk about, but yeah, we will see. Something else, which is quite weird to have a look at. Did anybody watch any of the Nexo Championship from Trump International in Scotland?
I've seen one clip.
First of all, happy that course is actually being shown on TV and how hard it is. It's an incredible course. Obviously, you need to take it with a pinch of salt about, kind of who owns it, I suppose. But the actual course is incredible. The event there, you could see how tough it was with the scores. But going into that final round, Shaun Norris from South Africa, who was playing great golf, got penalised. He got a 2-shot penalty for one of the randomest things I've ever seen. I've got to be honest, I didn't know this rule. Did you know this?
No.
So Shaun Norris was addressing a ball on the fairway, and he's kind of getting settled into his stance, and he stands on an old divot. Now the divot has been put in its place. So someone took a shot, took a divot out the ground, they replaced the divot in the same spot. Shaun Norris is then taking a stance nearby. His foot is in the divot, and I'm imagining that the divot is moving around a bit, because he can feel it. So he just kind of kicks it away, retakes his address, hits his shot. But Rule 8.1 of the rules of golf: a player cannot improve the conditions affecting their stroke. This includes moving a replaced divot on or near the intended line or swing path. So to put that in context, if the divot was to the outside of the indentation into the ground and he was stood on it, he could have just like kicked it aside and there wouldn't have been any issue. But because the divot was replaced, it was seen as being connected to the ground, and therefore effectively he was improving his lie with his stance. It's really weird. Honestly, I wouldn't have, if I'd have seen that in a tournament and someone did that, I can't think and I can't imagine a time when I have done that in a tournament. But let's say this hadn't happened and I went out tomorrow, say Tartan Tour, for example, and I was stood on like a really loose divot on my foot, I'd have moved it without even thinking about it.
Yeah.
This is a rule which I literally didn't know.
Yeah. I mean, to me, it feels like, it's not, like, it's in the ground, but it's not embedded in the ground. It's loose. So it's a loose impediment. Surely you'd be able to move that.
I guess the point they're trying to make is like, how do you know when it's not a loose impediment anymore? Because you're not going to track the growth of the grass into the roots into the ground, are you? So it's like, you have to draw the line somewhere.
Yeah, but then there's a sliding scale already there for other loose impediments and stuff. Like, when is the stick part of a tree? Like,
but also with a loose impediment as well. So let's say, and this is where I probably need some clarification, but I'm almost kind of certain that this is the case as well. So let's say you have the divot. I would say it's not loose when like the roots have reattached a bit. So if you like pull it up and like the roots come up, then okay, that's now attached.
It sounds like he's going to have agronomists on the law council.
But let's say your ball is kind of gone through into the rough, for example, and there is a rock like embedded in the rough. You can pick that out.
Yeah. Well, the rock's not alive.
But it's embedded.
But it's not alive.
How do you know? It's disrespectful for rocks. So
there's so many rules like that in golf though, because there's so much going on. There's so many variables throughout an entire golf course, which is like miles and miles and miles long, and you're like, how do you police every single aspect of it? So it's when these like tiny minute things come into play where you're just not expecting that to be such a massive deal. But then it is, and then all of a sudden it's like it loses a guy a tournament. It's, no.
I mean, that's almost certainly happened dozens, if not hundreds of times in professional golf tournaments.
Oh, definitely.
It's
Like,
kind of
the
the same
number of divots
conversation.
that are out there.
It's kind of the same conversation as the Bryson thing the other week, and it's like, would you get penalised for it if it wasn't for this one random Scottish guy that saw it on camera and grassed him up?
And
if you'll pardon the pun.
And I'm pretty sure this is the same rule, isn't it? That Bryson got penalised under.
Yeah.
And this covers the same thing and you see this all the time, that if someone hits it, say, under a tree, like they've got to like maneuver themselves.
Don't you snap any branches?
Yeah, maneuver themselves into position without affecting the kind of tree too much, I suppose.
Don't hurt the tree.
Too much.
I don't know. I'm rethinking it a little bit now. Definitely since Bryson, I've been way more careful.
Yeah, panicky.
Yeah, I've been thinking about it a lot more. And then when we play this weekend, I'm going to be...
Well, luckily, there's no trees on that course, is there? I don't remember any.
Which course are we playing?
It's the Fairmont one, isn't it?
Is it the Kittocks?
Yeah. I don't think there's anything on that.
I don't know. I think if you
Probably
hit...
work that out.
Yeah, probably true.
Yeah.
Should probably start practicing as well. So if this happens now, I'm on it. But I can't remember the last time when you're a PGA Pro, obviously when you grow up with the game, a lot of these rules, you just know and they come to you. I wouldn't know like rule 8.1. I wouldn't know its classification.
As they say in the law, ignorance of the law is no defence. So you should know.
Yeah, Pete.
Sorry. I'm sure ignorance of the law is a bit of a defence at times.
Apparently not.
Has to be, right?
No, sorry, officer. I didn't know I wasn't supposed to kill him.
Well, I mean,
all right then.
I mean, that's...
I'll let you off.
I mean, that's not ignorance, though, is it? That's I think we've gone a long way from moving a divot to actively murdering someone at this point.
But also, that comes under the bracket of common sense. And surely common sense here is that that's not a penalty.
How do you prove common sense?
What, the murder or the divot?
Both.
Oh, okay.
No penalty, free.
Oddly enough, though, if Shaun Norris would have attacked someone with his golf club, he wouldn't have actually been assessed a penalty under the rules of golf.
Really?
He'd have been escorted off the course, but he'd have.
But if he'd have done it on the last green after his last putt, he still would have won.
Yeah, and he would have been taking the trophy to prison with him.
Yeah.
Or he could have gone some spice, from earlier, from before.
Unless if he was improving his lie because they had someone like right next to
plays
the
it
ball.
live off someone's foot.
Yeah. Happy Gilmore-esque.
Oh man. Sorry, mate. So yeah, it was weird. Kind of one of those rules that maybe could do with being looked at, but it is obscure. Did you have something again?
I did.
Did you want to play?
So I had a question for you both. So to close us out, I'm going to give these. It's going to be a modified version of this question because I saw it online and it's for the average golfer. So I'm going to modify it for Pete.
Yes.
Okay.
But for David, I'll read it as it is.
Does this mean I am an average golfer now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. What's your
nice.
handicap at the minute?
20.
20 on the dot.
Yeah.
Nice. Average golfer. Okay, so you have 1 year and unlimited resources. Pete already has these unlimited resources, by the way. So I don't know about this. but you have 1 year and unlimited resources to break 70 in David's case, 60 in Pete's case. If you do it, you win $20 million. If you don't, you can never play golf again. Obviously, the stakes are higher for Pete never playing golf again, but he also has, I mean, it's more difficult. The course must be 6,000 yards from the tees you choose. Course must be rated higher than 70. No scrambles. Are you taking the deal?
How much was it?
You get $20 million if you break 60 in a year.
6,000 yards.
6,000 yards. Actually, I might adapt that to 6,500 for you and 6,000 for David.
I mean, 6.5 is, that's probably not doable. 6,000 could be tempted.
Could be tempted. The consequence is you not being able to play ever again after that 1 year. That like torpedoes your entire career. And ours.
I mean, you get a lot of videos done in that year, though, won't we? If you're just playing literally non-stop.
Road to 20 million. It'd be a good series.
I think the end result's probably the same, though, isn't it?
Which is?
You just don't play, win 20 million.
Well,
thanks, guys.
Peace out.
Thank you, mysterious benefactor, for your $20 million. I really appreciate it.
Does this mean I get... So at the end of the year, do I get one attempt to break 70?
No, you got that year. You can keep going. You just have to break 70.
Right, okay.
Throughout that year.
Because at
some point.
I don't think I would do it, but I think I would take the deal.
Like you can practice every day. You can be at any course you need. You can be at any driving range, have any coach, unlimited resources.
So I can get Butch Harmon every day of the week.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's got to be a pass. So par 70 or above.
Yeah.
6,000 yards. I think I'd have a go.
Back yourself for a 59.
I think I'd have a go. Like just a year of nothing else.
Yeah, just grinding with the best coaches, the best stuff.
So, I mean, 11 under, because I'm not sure right now at this moment, but, you know, certainly kind of last year when I was playing really good golf, I think I shot like a Formula Ladies, like just before open qualifying. Was that 63?
Yeah. But how far is Formula Ladies? About 6,000?
Yeah, so just under 6,000, I think. That's par 72. So, you know, I reckon I'd give that a good go over the course of a year, especially where you can base yourself as well. And you've got unlimited resources. Yeah. What a great year.
It'll be a good year. It'll be a solid year. And to be fair, for like us, if we were doing it, you kind of wouldn't have to play golf again after that because you'll have been able to play the best courses and do the best things. And like even if you fail, like cool.
But you would be a good golfer at this point.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Shame you won't be able to play.
It's like, where to today's then?
You could be like a 5 handicap, didn't manage it, but you know.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Like, what if you literally shoot 70 on your final turn?
Yeah, and you're like, well, that's the end of that then. It was a good run.
Oh, those last few weeks, the pressure would be
squeaky bum time at the end.
Intense. Man, okay, that's good. I like that. Yeah, I'd give that a go.
Let us know in the comments.
Would you guys give that a go?
Would you take the deal?
Okay, cool. I think that's kind of us talked out on most stuff there. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you do go check out NordVPN via the description or go to nordvpn.com/roughcut to take advantage of that deal. That would be absolutely wonderful. Right, okay. See you next time.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.